Yabona, what Malema has revealed here as to how police participate in crime and all the stuff. You know, let's put aside the fact that whether you like Malema or you don't like Malema, let's take that and shove it and put it on the shelf. But let's discuss the facts that Malema is bringing on the table. I personally think that he's bringing very fair arguments here. You know, the argument that Malema is bringing, guys, is so solid that, yeah, Malema is exposing Ramaphosa and say, listen, you are very weak. You are such a weak leadership. Under your leadership, things are deteriorating. The state of policing in this country look, it's worse, deteriorating. And he then goes and says, listen, look, it's worse. The SIU is corrupt. They will investigate and they will never give you the report unless you give them money. Right, that's SIU. Hawks, Hawks and the army, they are now involved in cash and transit robbery. And you know things that Malema is saying. He's saying, no, all these things are happening under your watch because you are just such a weak leader. I'm saying to you guys, you might have differences in terms of Malema. He might not be your favorite person. But let's not take that let's not allow that to becloud our judgment. Let's judge him on the basis of what he's saying here. Is he lying or is he telling the truth? From where I'm standing, most of the things that he has said here, guys, they are very truthful. And I'm going to substantiate why I believe that most of the things that Malema is saying here, they are truthful. But before I can substantiate, right? Before I can give you all the facts that I believe, right, with all of my heart, I'm putting it to you that you do the following. If you are not yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? Come on, good people, because to subscribe it is free, to like the video it is free, to comment in the comment section below it is free of charge, to click the notification bell it is free of charge, to share this video it is free of charge, to watch this video until the end it is free of charge. Also, good people, come on, to watch the ads it's free of charge, and that's how you financially contribute to this YouTube channel. Speaking about financially contribution to the channel, you can become a member of this YouTube channel from as little as 20 Rand a month. You can also use the Super Thanks button. In case you don't want to do that, guys, there is a way where you can use my media company banking details to donate to the channel, and you know what I'm saying? We'll bring you more, and also guys want to buy more equipment. So the power is in your hands. Please do the honorable thing as we proceed. Okay, so now I'm about to give you I'm about to make you listen to Malema, right? Now, before I make you listen to Malema, listen, hear me out. I was told of a situation not long ago. I was in a certain car I requested and I was going somewhere, and somebody told me a story that one of the family members there got kidnapped. That person is a business person. So the family knew a member of Hawks. So these people have kidnapped this person and they held him somewhere in a farm-like area, right? Now they were requesting for a ransom, and right. So the family then goes to this person who belongs to the Hawks to say, listen, because you are working in such a respectable and a reputable institution such as Hawks, can't you assist in this situation? Now the response from the person, I definitely sure it's going to surprise you. It's something that you will never expect from such a person who works from an organization like that. Right? You wouldn't have expected that. But again, it's such a mess. But before I continue telling you the conclusion of that story, I want you to listen to what Julius Malema said, right? He gives every details, right? And I don't want you to accuse me of not giving you the opportunity to listen to what Malema said. So you're going to listen to what Malema said, and then when he's done, I'm going to come back again, and then we will continue with the conversation. So please take a look at what Malema said here.
Proceed, honorable member.
SIU is corrupt.
You make proclamation, they go and investigate. If they don't find anything wrong, they ask money from people. And if you don't give them money, they withheld the report. They don't announce the report. Corruption has moved into the hawks now. And they are not only corrupt, the hawks, they are now participating in cash in transit haste. The army people as well are found into that. There is a general degeneration in South Africa under your leadership. The cash in transit is uncontrollable. Why? Because you are weak, you are not firm, and criminals don't like weak people. And we want to tell you and this parliament that we will not abide by that oath of that intelligence committee. For as long as there is corruption, we are going to expose that money. There is still money and hide in the name of intelligence. Mulekani, not even Honorable Dipu, the deputy minister, is the one who's number one in defending the corruption which is happening in the intelligence, crime intelligence, military intelligence, all sorts of, including the intelligence department itself. There is our fellow South African, the Indian fellow, I forgot his name in Natal, hired 50 members of his family, a well-known corrupt fellow who has been stealing money of the crime intelligence. You have never acted on that individual.
Deputy Speaker. Yes, Madam.
Okay, so that family then goes into the guy who's working for the Hawks and say, please, man, assist us. Our family has been, our family member here has been captured by these guys. We know they are with him. They might kill him. They might do harm to him. And they said that you don't call the police, you don't do anything. And they said, listen, the way this thing, it was well organized and well planned. They hijacked this guy. It was more like a hijacking. But funny enough, when they got the guy, the thieves, when they got the guy, they got into the guy. They only took the guy, not the car, to show that it was not about the car. They were not interested in the car. They were interested in the person. Quickly so, the car, few hours later, is recovered. The man is gone. Few hours later, this thing happens here in Johannesburg. Few hours later, the man was in Limpopo, somewhere in Limpopo, in a farm that nobody knows. So they goes into this guy, the Hawks guy, and say, listen, you are from a very reputable institution. What's your take? Guess the response. The response was, give them the money. We can't help you. Give them the money. And I said to myself, they're like, yeah, that's how the guy from the Hawks responded. He was like, give them whatever they want. There are two ways that you can interpret that. One is that he was working with them. He knew what was happening. That's a first interpretation. And I will talk about the application, because interpretation is something else and application is something else. The second thing that you can think of is that, he understands that if he were to do anything right now, they would kill the guy. Maybe he looked at the situation and analyzed the situation and be like, the people who are doing this, they know what they are doing. They've been doing it. You can see, look, maybe he listened to the details and he could see that, no, these people, they mean business and they're going to kill this guy. So to save his life, send them the money. That's an interpretation. That's why I said there are two ways you can interpret this. But then the application is, right, if you hear a person that comes from such an institution such as Hawks, because let me state this categorically clear, Hawks guys are very respected. You don't want Hawks next to you. You don't want them Hawks next to you. They are very respected institution in this country. So you don't want them to be associated with anything negative in this country. Because wherever they are involved, we just want to keep them at the, with high regards. It's like Hawks is the same, look, in the same way they treat FBI in America. The other department may fail, but FBI is not expected to fail. That's how much, that's the what's this thing? The image and the perception that is created on the floor. You know what I'm saying? When you see a car, I'm a Hawks, man, yeah. You kind of feel like, Hawks, when you talk about Hawks, you talk about people that have a special place in everybody's mind and hearts, because we believe, we don't even know, for some strange reasons, we believe that they've got the best equipment. You know what I'm saying? Everything of theirs is the best. And also their behavior. The perception that we have formulated is that those guys, they behave in a certain way and they never fail. But then you listen to the story that I've just told you, and then you listen to what Malema said, and then you put 1+1 together, and then you look at the highs that are happening in this country, and you ask yourself, and I know for a fact this has been confirmed. I wouldn't know about the member of Hawks, but in terms of the South African police service, some of them, it has been confirmed they were found in a cash and transit look. Even part of them, some of them from Metro. I think one Metro was staying here in Don Park, if I'm not mistaken. That was once found in this thing of cash and transit heist, right? And then soldiers. Some of them have been found there, so it's not like a theory. The only people that I haven't heard of, and maybe Malema speaks from a point of privilege because he's a president of EFF, obviously, he's connected, so he might know what I don't know. I wouldn't even dare saying, that's because I don't know what he knows, therefore I must be lying. No, I'm just gonna take him from that point, look from that perspective to say he's privileged. You know what I'm saying? Because where he's seated, some people who are in the Hawks, they favor him. So look, I take it to say it is true that some of them might have shared information with him to say this is what is happening in the organization Yama Hawks. That is just my perception from the ground, right? But if this is the case, I would say, I once said this previously, look, in one of my videos, right? An SA Infotainment podcast. I once said that if it was according to me, Hawks were never going to be used in anything that is not, I don't know. If you know that this mission is probably impossible to achieve, for me, I will say don't involve Hawks. Hawks are supposed to, like this department of America. There's this legal department of America that has got 98 conviction rate. I was reading about them 2 days ago. I just forgot the name. They've got 98% conviction rate, right? So for me, I kind of feel like if you want to build if you want to create the respect around Hawks, know when to involve them, and also whenever they are involved, you need to make sure that when Hawks are involved, they do a clean job, and the conviction rate is always the highest, so that they can maintain that reputation to say we are not whenever Hawks are after you, it will have this thing to say whenever Hawks are after you, they will get you. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're a criminal, when you know that, hey, these guys have got 95% conviction rate, and you're like, they are looking for me. You will visit toilet every now and again. But then that perception is being distorted when you hear that they are part and parcel of criminal activity in this country. Those are because from the general perspective or general perception is that these are the people who are paid better than any other police. You know what I'm saying? And we always see them driving fancy cars like Golf 7. I've never seen Hawks driving, Hawks driving. You know what I'm saying? They're always driving. You know what I'm saying? So that thing, it creates the perception that even their salaries, you know what I'm saying, they are. So then the question is, why would you be involved in criminal activity? You know what I'm saying? Why do you involve yourself in criminal activity? Those are some of the questions that I have personally. Maybe you are a member of Hawks, but obviously you will never talk to me, especially in a YouTube like this. I know professionals will never respond to me in something like this, not unless I go there and engage them personally and ask them questions. I do wish that I can talk to them, and those are the people that I highly respect. And if you are from the Hawks, please just know I wish to interview those guys, because from me, I am coming from this angle that department, we respect them. Look, we hold them at high regard. You know what I'm saying? Like Hawks. But then when you hear news like this, it's so disappointing. It's very disappointing. So I will wish to sit with them down one day and understand if they understand how we view them, right? If they understand the perception that we have about hawks. So then why will you jeopardize this organizational thing? Man, the respect we have. Hey man, if you're seeing Motema hawks passing by, maybe they're just going for lunch. You kind of feel like, oh, these ones, I need to give them away. Like that, that's a percent. Hawks, you know what I'm saying? Have that. But if things like this continue to prevail and dominate, I'm not going to talk about soldiers because soldiers, the reason I wouldn't even talk about them is because somehow we've heard a lot, but in terms of perception, we don't have, or we don't, how best can I say this? We don't treat or we don't look at them the same way we look at hawks, right? That's just a fact. But when it comes to a situation where there's a shooting and other stuff, obviously the first people to think about is them soldiers. That's just the natural instinct and the natural perception we have with soldiers. Talking about the South African Police Service, those ones, the perceptions that we have generally is that they are corrupt. The level of trust that people have on South African Police Service has deteriorated, and it continues to deteriorate. But also, I think police themselves they don't help saving the integrity and the image of the South African Police Service. I'll give an example about it. If you're looking at the case, the case of Senzo Meyiwa, the case that is supposed to set the standard in terms of creating a perception and creating a, you know what I'm saying? Because perception is everything. If police are perceived as people that are doing their work, police are like we perceived hawks. You know, hawks we associate with. We can associate them with agility, precision. You know, all those words, man. Accuracy. That's hawks. We always associate them with such. You know what I'm saying? When you hear that hawks arrested a person, the first thing that comes to your mind, you're like, huh? That person must have been a serious thief. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, hawks, that's a perception we have. But when you look at the South African Police Service in general, we don't have that same perception about them. It's a fact. If they're looking at this video, now they should know it's a fact. They need to work hard on the image of the South African Police Service. I've said this before that South African Police Service, they should have used the Senzo Meyiwa case to build their reputation. That case was supposed to be a stepping stone for them to build a reputation that there will be a reputation that will work for the South African Police Service. For the fact that people kind of feel like if there's criminal activity, they feel it is better to call a private security company to go and deal with that situation than to call the South African Police Service. That alone tells you of how much people don't trust the South African Police Service. But I don't want you to misconstrue that English data gone. But I don't want to be misunderstood as to say there are no people within the South African Police Service that are hard at work, that love their jobs. No, never make that mistake. There are people in the South African Police Service who are very dedicated to their job, love what they are doing, they're committed to that. They do give better service. It's just that generally, it's a fact, generally, rotten potatoes contaminate even the right potatoes. Even this one, look at it figuratively in terms of the image, right? The rotten potatoes have contaminated the image and the credibility of the institution. And that's just a fact. The Senzo Meyiwa case is not helping as well in terms of rebuilding the image of the South African Police Service, the credibility of the South African Police Service, because that department, I did say, it's one of the very important department. Can you imagine a country where there are no police? You know, I just feel like I want to beat you now, and I'll do it because nobody's going to arrest me. You know, I feel like I can skip the robot now. I just going to do it because nobody's going to say anything. What are you going to say? I'm just making a practical example. A country without police, it's just going to be a chaotic country. It's a fact. So you can therefore derive this conclusion that from that you can draw an inference to say they are very important. It's just that the corrupt ones, they are distorting the image and the credibility. So much so that people lose the essence and the importance of the South African police service. Now they are disrespected. They are no longer respected because of the corrupt cops, the corruptions that we hear in terms of the South African police service. But in terms of the army, the perception, like I said before, we are looking at people that can kill you, right? And look, if you are in a very aggressive situation, you know what I'm saying? It's a fact. It's a fact. You are just once an army is involved, that's a perception we have, is that these people, they are trained in aggression, right? Because they are standing on the borders, protecting the country. So they need to be aggressive because the enemy will not be solved. It makes sense. So then you're looking at a cash in transit that involves them. And you say to yourself, the guards that are always guarding this money, will they survive when it comes to that? Because those people are trained in aggression. They are very aggressive. No, I wouldn't say by nature, but they are trained. You know what I'm saying? So this thing, it's a second nature to them to be aggressive. So you take your chances, they'll deal with you. But again, when we hear that a member of a South African Defence Force has been found in a cash and transit situation, then you can ask yourself a question, what does it do to the integrity and the image of the South African Defence Force? It tarnished the image, So that is why, guys, in conclusion, it is very important to understand when you affiliate to any organization, it is very important for you to understand that you are not just now representing yourself, but you are representing an organization. Any bad actions you have, it reflects back to the organization you are representing. Maybe I need to say this again. We can also say it this way, right? How best can I say this? You see, if you are misbehaving in society, usually they will reference where you come from. And if you are a good person in society, they will reference where you come from. It's always about you were raised well. So you can understand the application between what you are doing and where you're coming from. It's always it's interlinked, right? So if you understand that relationship, then you will say, if you are from the Hawks, a member of Hawks, then you will say, anything that I do, anything that any bad behavior that can be found by the public or the news, the media, and get exposed, it has got direct repercussions to the organization you are representing. And that's just something that I want us to understand. If you are in this department or if you are in any of the mentioned department, I don't want you to look at this from just a hate, but I want you to understand this from that perspective to say, if you are a member of the South African Police Service, your behavior in society, it has got a direct repercussion in either building or destroying the credibility and the image of the organization you work for. We forget that you are a human. When you make a mistake, we remember the institution you are working for, which is the South African Police Service. We expect you to behave better. That's just the natural instinct that we have as society, right? So the organizations that are being named here as corrupt under Ramaphosa, people who participate in this criminal activity, they must know that they are bringing the name of this organization into disrepute, and the unintended consequences is that people lose trust in those institutions. And if I were to ask you, do you want people to lose trust in the SAPS? Definitely no. Right? Do you want people to lose trust in Hawks? Definitely no. Do you want people to lose trust in the SNDF? Definitely no. So why do you engage in activities that will jeopardize the credibility and the image of this institution? It's a question of the day. Maybe it's a rhetorical question, but you've got to answer it anyway. Because the job that you're occupying, it's a calling. It's not just a job. It's a calling.